Because you're my special friend.
Don't worry, you clicked the right video.
Let your edge out. Cause the iceberg, you'll be heavy in my.
Today we are going to study about angle of elevation and depression. For this subtopic, you should already know the basic concept, which is when someone at the highest place and look down, it means there is angle of depression occur. Another situation is when someone at the bottom and look up, it means there is angle of elevation occur. You can refer to the picture for more understanding. Next is example for concept of angle elevation and depression. In this picture, it's showing that Ali looked up to the aeroplane, then Ali looked down to the cat. From the picture also, we already know that angle of depression equal to Ali look down to the cat. Meanwhile, angle of elevation equal to Ali look up to the aeroplane. There are 3 easy steps to solve questions that involving angle of elevation and depression. First, you need to draw a sketch of the situation. Then mark in the given angle of elevation or depression. For the last step, use trigonometry to find the required missing line.
Basic concept on angle of elevation and depression. For example 1, a man measured the angle of elevation between the ground and a building 800 feet away to be 30 degrees. How tall is the building? So the first thing we do is sketch a diagram and enter all the information we got from the question. Then we will use the right formula. The formula we use in this question is TOA. Tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. And then we'll enter all the information needed. So for tan theta is tan 30 degree, opposite is height of the building, and adjacent is 800. So if we wanted to find the height, we'll move the h to the front. So it become h equal to 800 in bracket tan 30 degree. Then we'll use calculator and we'll get the answer. So the tall of the building is 46.188 feet.
Ramlah is as high as 58 meter vertically from a hotel watching a car at a distance of 85 meter horizontal. Find the angle of depression of the car from Ramlah. To find the angle of depression of the car from Ramlah, we will use the tangent formula, which is opposite over adjacent. Then it will be tangent equal to 58 meter over 85 meter. So the angle of depression of the car from Ramlah will be 34.31, which is the answer.
For example 3, a surveyor wants to measure the height of a mountain from one point on the ground. The angle of elevation to the top of the mountain is 32.5 degree. He moved 760 meters closer to the mountain and found an angle of elevation of 41.7 degree. Determine the height of the mountain. Okay, first we're gonna start by drawing a diagram so that we can understand better about the question. As we can see from the diagram, we will need to find the length of AD. In order to do that, we're gonna have to find the length of AC first. To find AC, we'll be using the sine rule because on angle ACB, we are given with 2 angles and 1 length. We will just substitute in the value on the sine rule formula. AC over sine 32.5 equals to 460 meter over sine 9.2. We calculate and then we will get the length of AC is 2554.07 meter. Now that we have the length of AC, we can find the length of AD by using the sine rule formula. Because on angle ADC, we already have 2 angles and 1 length. So we're going to start by substituting in the value into the sine rule formula. AD over sine 41.7 equals to 2554.07 over sine 90. After we calculate it, we can know that the length of AD is 1669.04 meter. For example 4, the diagram shows a boy on top of a building. Points S, P, and Q lie on a straight line. The angle of depression of point P from R is 40 degree, and the angle of depression of point Q from R is 30 degree. Find the distance of PQ. So we're gonna have to find the distance of PQ by finding the difference between SQ and SP. So first, we're gonna start by finding the length of SP. To find the length of SP, we'll be using the sine rule formula because in angle RSP, there are two angles and one length. So we're gonna do that by substituting the value onto the sine rule formula. 50 over sine 40 equals to SP over sine 50. After we calculate it, we can see that the value of SP is 59.59 meter. Now that we have found the length of SP, we will now be finding the length of SQ. To find the length of SQ, we can use the sine rule formula or the SOT formula. But right now, I'll be using the sine rule formula. To find the length of SQ, we'll be substituting the value onto the sine rule formula. 50 over sine 30 equals to SQ over sine 60. After we calculate it, we can see that the length of SQ is 86.60 meter. The length of PQ, we're gonna have to find the difference between SQ and SP. So 86.60 minus 559.59 equals to 27.01 meter. So we can conclude that the length of PQ is 27.01 meter.
Yeah, there's only one way out, it's through and through and through. Oh, through and through, I'll find my way to you.
Wait a minute!
We forget something.